This is my Lolita Surinam Cherry Tree. It's the black variety. This is my first video on this particular tree. I have two other Surinam cherry trees that are of the red variety. I previously posted a video on one of them when it had flowered, but it didn't. I didn't get any fruit set off of that one. This one here managed to set fruit, so I decided to make a video on it. This tree is growing in a 15-gallon container, and this is my first harvest off of it. It's not a bad harvest considering that it's growing in a container. I'm pleased with the amount of fruit that it's setting. Eventually, I do plan to put this tree in the ground, but I won't do that until I harvest all the fruit. This tree was purchased from an online nursery back in June of 2019. The container it's in now is the same one when it was purchased. According to nursery employee, this tree was estimated to be about 5 years old at the time of purchase. It had pretty good branching and plenty of lush green leaves. These trees can be trained to grow as a hedge or kept to a more traditional looking tree. I'm thinking I might train mine to grow as a hedge, planted in the ground along this area. I plan on clearing out the hedge that is here now and replacing it with this one. Not exactly sure if I'll keep it as a hedge or a traditional tree, but this is the area where I intend to plant it eventually. We'll get plenty of sun in this area, so it should do fine here. The flower buds started to form in late December. They're a bit hard to see because they're only the size of a pinhead. Here are a few. Here's another small group. A little hard to focus in on them, but there's several scattered throughout the tree. By mid-January, the buds had nearly doubled in size. They are still a bit hard to see. Here in this group, you can see them more easily. Here in these pictures, you can see them much better. Flower buds grow in small clusters. And here's a few more. Here they are just before the buds started to break open and flower. Here with this one, you can see the bud cracking and the white flower ready to emerge. Here in this group, you can see the buds swollen and ready to open. Here they are a few days later. A few of the flowers had started to bloom. The flowers are really attractive looking. There are a few leaves that have a bit of cold damage, but the tree is holding up well. By mid-February, the tree had lost several leaves due to the cold damage. It wasn't looking all that great, but as you can see, there were a few healthy leaves starting to come in. By early March, some of the fruit had started to develop. If you've been following my channel, you know that I don't get a lot of bee activity in my backyard. I usually spray a mixture of honey and water in order to trying to attract bees to my fruit trees that are flowering. Back in late January, when the flowers started to bloom, I could not find a single bee in my yard. I'm sure the cold weather didn't help matters, but I still kept spraying the flowers. Finally, in February, I saw that the tree was getting a little bee activity. By mid-April, the fruit had started to set. The tree had several flowers that were starting to produce fruit. As you can see, the tree had almost completely recovered from the cold damage. It was looking full and flush with healthy green leaves. Here's a close-up of some of the fruit that was starting to set. You can see here that the fruit forms on the back of the flower. Here's a better shot. Here they are a few weeks later. The fruit has put on good amount of growth in a short time. They're still not full size, but doing really good. This flower here is a late bloomer. Here's the tree in early May. Still doing well. The tree is managing to hold on to a good amount of fruit. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't be able to hold on to that many since I didn't have a whole lot of bee activity, but apparently it was enough. Here's that late bloomer again, right at the end of its flowering cycle. Here they are a few days later. Some of them are almost full size. And here it is in early May. As you may have noticed, I moved the tree from its previous location. I've seen some YouTube videos on these trees and they mentioned that the birds really like the fruit, so I decided to move it to an area where I can keep a better eye on it. At this stage, the fruit is a bright red color. From the research I've done on this black variety, you get the best flavor when the fruit turns a deep purple, almost black looking color. These are still a little ways from being fully ripe. And there are still quite a few that are green. So I should get a few of these ripening for a few weeks, maybe even longer. As you can see here, there's another late bloomer again. And now here we are at the start of the first harvest off this tree. There's several that are close to being ready, but still need a little more time on the tree. This one here is at the color I'm looking for, and as you can see, Came right off. It's deep purple, almost black in color, definitely ripe. The camera may not be picking up the true color, but it's ready. Here you can see the difference in the colors. The one on the top is bright red and not ready, but the one on the bottom is the right color and definitely ready for harvest. I'm going to pick a few of these off the tree and I'll show you what they look like once I cut them open. Here's a picture of the fruit I harvested. Went ahead and placed a quarter in there so you can get an idea of the size of the fruit. I also went ahead and picked one that was bright red. I just wanted to compare the taste to the different stages and see what the difference is. Here's what they look like on the inside. They're really juicy, and as you can see, they have a fairly large seed in the middle. Here they are with the seeds removed. It was fairly easy removing the seeds. The center flesh didn't stick onto the seed, so they came out relatively easy. As for the flavor, the darker colored ones are definitely better tasting than the red ones. The red ones were definitely more tart in flavor. The darker colored ones had a mildly sweet flavor with a little tang to it. But overall, the flavor was pretty good. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please click on the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can follow along all the work that's going on in my backyard orchard. Until next time, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.